We here at Angry Me Production want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at TexasMobileNotaryMindy.com. That's TX, MobileNotaryMindy.com. Thank you so much and enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Me Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives, week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on, we thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today, we're going to go ahead and deep dive in the Jeffrey Epstein sting, since he was finally laid to rest in a sort of weird way after it's been 2 years. No,
Yeah,
3.
well, when you think about it, it makes sense because...
And if you're just watching the video portion of our show, I don't know why Johnny took the liberty of, I guess since we're talking about Epstein, he wanted small hands. So Johnny has small hands. That's kind of creepy.
they look so big when I hold it. Anyways, that's bad. That's bad form.
Yeah.
Bad.
But
bad,
anyway,
bad. You're missing it. You're missing bad, Johnny. Bad.
God damn, Johnny.
Okay, so all right. As everybody knows, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. But and I even chronicled this when I went to the Armed Forces Bowl a couple of years ago. I was the only one, I think, in this stadium that had a sign. And what did my sign say? Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Dude, I had Fort Worth cops. I had some Medal of Honor recipients. I had a couple of Purple Heart guys, football players from Tulane coming out of the tunnel that saw the sign because that's where we were sitting. And dude, everybody wanted a selfie with the sign. It was great, dude. It was great. But you know, we can get into, and I'm sure we will.
I just there's we're gonna cut this as short as possible.
Yeah.
Not because we don't want to deal with it. It's just there's so much conspiracy. I mean, we talked about it before we even started on the show. That the Donald Barr theory, because he wrote the books Space Relations, and I'll to give you the synopsis of what is it called with the book that has the, is it a synopsis of the book, what it's called? Or
yeah,
okay. This is what it says: the classic cheesy space opera sci-fi. There's are space pirates, teenage sex slaves, an oligarch dominatrix, and a hero, sort of, who saves the day. And yeah, and we go back and find out that Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Barr are connected because of the school that he actually worked at, which he didn't have a degree to teach, and he ended up teaching because this whole thing was fucking unreal.
Oh, you mean like Barack Obama not having a degree in constitutional law, but he was a constitutional scholar at Harvard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was at the Dalton School in Upper East Side of Manhattan, where Donald Barr, who served as headmaster until June 1974 and was known as member of several unconventional recruitments at the time, although it was unclear whether he had a direct role of hiring Epstein. 3 months after Barr's departure, Epstein began to teach at the school, which, like I said, he didn't have a degree or anything like that. Well, he attended a mathematics science in the University of New York University and studied mathematics and philosophy, but left without receiving a degree in June 1974. Just to let everybody clarify that he did attend college, he just didn't graduate. And he had a teaching degree. He ended up not a teaching degree, but he ended up teaching at a pristine school. The Dalton School is fucking pristine. And it basically it's chronological college preparation school in New York City, a member of both Ivory Preparation School Leagues and New York Inner School. That's how pristine this school was. It was for the rich of the rich.
Yeah. But to kind of delve into there is a, I'm going to use a big word, variable cornucopia of information out there, different sources. It's almost like it's become kind of its like own micro ecosystem, as far as stories, information, articles, sources. I mean, there's a ton of things out there about Jeffrey Epstein, Justine Maxwell, Epstein's Island, the Black Book. Of course, we won't ever find anything about the flight logs, because I think that they're gonna wrap those up like they did the JFK assassination stuff, where we won't find out about it until everybody that's on that that was listed on those flight logs is dead.
100 years we'll finally figure out what really went on.
But Jeffrey Epstein told the New York Post in 2011, he says, "I'm not a sexual predator, I'm an offender." And I'm like, I'm okay.
How is that better?
Yeah, it's not any better. He, of course, everybody knows he died August 10th, in his prison cell.
We'll get into that.
Right. I'm kind of roundabouting.
Yeah.
So, he was being held without bail, because eventually the prosecutors thought this dude's a serious flight risk, and there was a good reason for it.
I mean, he has his own. He technically had his own island. He had a ranch. He had a place in Palm Springs. He had a place in Arizona. He had a place. I don't think he had the place in Manhattan.
He did. There was a large residence in Manhattan. There was I think it was either Arizona or New Mexico. Well, he ended up having to surrender his Manhattan residence the second time around. Because he let me see here. Where was it? Let me see here. All right. Because the first time around, it was in 2005. It was the parents of a 14-year-old girl in Florida told police that Epstein had molested their daughter. Parents told police that Epstein molested their daughter at his Palm Beach home. Police searched the property, found photos of girls throughout the house. So I mean, it wasn't just that girl. And the Miami Herald reported that his abuse of underage girls dated back years. It wasn't a he said, she said type situation, said
There's
Palm.
literally photos of him like being escorted by young girls and
Right.
certain
But,
events.
like I was saying, I mean, quote, this is not a he said, she said situation. That was Palm Beach police chief Michael Ritter. He told the Miami Herald newspaper this was 50 something she's and one he, and all the she's are basically told the same story. Um, According to columnist Michael Wolff, he told New York Magazine in 2007 for a profile piece, he's never been secretive about the girls, as the case against Epstein, moved through the courts. But at one point, when his troubles began, he was talking to me and he said, "What can I say? I like young girls." I said, "Maybe you should say I like young women." However, prosecutors forged a deal with the hedge fund manager in 2008. He avoided federal charges, which could have seen him face life in prison. And instead, he received an 18-month prison sentence during which he was able to go on work release to his office for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. He was released on probation after 13 months. Now, the Miami Herald says that the federal prosecutor, which at the time was Alexander Acosta, who was Secretary of Labor in the Trump administration, struck a plea agreement, hiding the extent of his crimes and ending an FBI investigation into whether there were more victims or more powerful people who took part. The paper described it as the deal of the century. Now, Acosta later resigned in July of 2019 over the scandal. And he defended his actions as guaranteeing at least some jail time for Epstein, which I'm like, the whole, I mean, this whole thing like really started to kick off about the same time that the Me Too movement started up. Now,
Yeah.
since 2008, Epstein had been listed as a level 3 sex offender on the New York Sex Offenders Registry. That's a lifelong designation, meaning as you was at high risk of reoffending. Now, you're a level 3 and you know, uh, you've been released after 13 months. I somehow, I kind of, the fact that I think Acosta overstepped his bounds at that point. Um, that, considering the fact that this took place in several states after
Yeah.
we soon later found out, I think that it should have been a federal case. Now, I think that there needs to be some kind of rewriting of the legislation as far as how to prosecute child sex crimes to include trafficking. Um, I think that if it occurs
I
over
think they're
state lines,
trying to they're trying to actually get that uh
well, good, because I mean they really need to they really need to take a crap and get off the pot
there
because
are states that are taking steps. I mean, Florida's one of them. We've already talked about that. Florida's talking giving the death penalty on some of these child rapists.
yeah. Now,
And
with but I mean Epstein was allowed to maintain his assets after the conviction. So he
oh yeah,
maintained after the first conviction, he maintained Palm Beach, he maintained Manhattan, he maintained his island, and it was either Arizona or New Mexico that he had that ranch at. But in December 2010, Prince Andrew, who was the third child of Queen Elizabeth, was seen with Epstein in Central Park, uh, drawing controversy. It's like, oh, well, what's a royal doing with a sex offender, kind of a thing, and that's a whole other show. But in a BBC interview in November of 2019, the prince, who had known Epstein since '99, said he had gone to New York to break off their friendship. He said he regretted staying at the financier's house while he was there, and that he had let the side down by doing so. Now, I guess that's British speak for I made my mom look bad, kind of a thing. But
yeah.
an Epstein accuser by the name of Virginia Roberts, now Virginia Giuffre, that's what I'm going with, would later allege that she was made to have sex with Prince Andrew in the early 2000s when she was 17. Prince Andrew categorically denied having sex with her and said he has had no recollection of a photo of the pair ever being taken together in London. So he is, Epstein and Maxwell are flying these girls all over the world to
Well, there's even details. Okay, here's a detail. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just found this. There's also details in an investigation, including the allegations of 12-year-old triplets who were flown in from France for Epstein's birthday.
Yeah. See, and if it wasn't for the fact that, in what a lot of circles, might to include mine, believe that Hillary arranged the execution of Epstein, to keep her husband out of jail. I think that the FBI would have eventually hit a brick wall anyway, because, as we all know, the FBI is not so much of a law enforcement agency anymore. It's a political arm of the Democrat Party.
No,
But
I don't have a bad rap. What are you talking about?
oh no, I didn't do that. They did that to themselves.
I know.
Anyways, but Epstein was arrested in New York on July 6th of 2019 after flying back from Paris on his private jet. Now, prosecutors were reportedly seeking the forfeiture of his New York mansion where some of the alleged crimes occurred. Now, Epstein always maintained that he didn't do anything wrong and pled not guilty to the new charges against him. He was denied bail by the court, and he was being held in New York's Metropolitan Correctional Center. And he was taken to the hospital briefly in July for what was widely reported to be injuries to his neck, which neither prison officials or his lawyers would officially comment on. His last court appearance was on 31 July of that year, and it became clear that he would spend a year in prison with a trial no earlier than summer of 2020. Prosecutors said that they wanted no delay in bringing the trial quickly was in the best interest of the public. But as again, October 10th or August 10th of 2019, Epstein was found unresponsive and dead in his prison cell.
Which
he was in a high risk unit. He was supposed to be under 24-hour surveillance by both guard and cameras. The guard stepped away, the cameras stopped working for whatever reason, and next thing we know, Epstein's dead. So there was always something there, but again, that's another.
Well, that's what we kind of want to go into, because no one, as much as I would like to say it, there's no correctional officers that actually came up and said, "Oh, this is how it could have happened or would have happened." I looked through everything trying to find some kind of because nobody's defending the correctional officers. I'll tell you exactly what could have happened, and we verify what did happen, but I don't know the area that he was held at and their security system and everything like that, because I was never there. But ours, before I actually officially got out of being a correctional officer, they actually updated the cameras and SEG, high security, and the rest of the farm. They updated it to reasonable standard.
Mm-hmm.
All of it's controlled in the central box, and that box is in what we call central, which controls most of the what do you call it? Basically, they have all the riot gear and all kinds of stuff in there.
Yeah,
that's where it's all controlled.
Right.
Now, to turn that off, you literally the warden's the only one that usually has the key, or a major. That's all who have the key to mess with anything that has, any kind of recording documentation.
Right.
So you'd have to have someone higher up take out the cameras, tell the people that are watching, because if you're on a suicide watches last for about a week in Texas. I don't know how it is in New York. It could be like 24 hours or whatnot. But you literally have a guy sitting on his ass watching that cell. They have a window and everything, and that's on a
That's his one job. Yeah.
that's what he does. If
Yeah.
you have multiple suicide watches, which they usually have like 2 people, and they have like I want to say probably around about 10 minutes they have to check the cell. And then this is, mind you, this is Texas.
Yeah.
But suicide watch is no joke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fun for the like next 5 minutes, but you don't do shit. You can't do shit. You're not allowed to do shit. Your job at that point in time is to look at that individual and make sure he doesn't hang himself, cut himself, or I did see or hear one person try to drown themselves in the toilet, so that was awkward. Dude, I can tell you some fucked up stories. There was one guy who literally got up on the top bunk and he was trying to kill himself by hitting his head on the metal toilet. He literally jumped into the head first into the metal toilet. That's how he tried to kill himself. But yeah.
So, I mean, he eventually ended up having to surrender his Manhattan residence. And so and eventually, and I say eventually, they ended up he still got to keep his ranch. I think they raided his Florida home, the island on Little St. James.
They raided the island, they raided the Palm Springs, and they raided the Florida one. But for some the King Ranch, and it is in New Mexico, it's not in Arizona.
Yeah. So so I thought
King Ranch is weird because the King Ranch is literally not part of the Epstein stuff. I mean, he had a facility on there, but it was still kind of owned by the King Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it was like legally limbo weird type deal.
Now, I was reading an article today from the Independent. It's a London newspaper or website, independent.co.uk. But I mean, Epstein's island, they say islands, but it's just, I mean, he had the one compound on the one island. The Epstein liked to call it Little St. Jeff. The locals called it Pedophile Island. There was a lot of workers at the airport there that saw. I mean, these girls were clearly underage. One guy, I mean, they all spoke under the condition of anonymity, but it was a situation where, he would have these girls get off the plane. He'd just stand there in the tarmac. I mean, he's in plain view of the university there, the major highway that runs next to the airport, the towers there. I mean, he didn't care. But he would have these girls that were clearly underage wearing college sweatshirts. And one guy was like, well, maybe that was just a form of camouflage. We really don't know. But he didn't care. But it was a 75-acre compound. It was basically one island. He just purchased the island, which I guess is a major hedge fund operator. You can do that. It was in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Let me see here. It was dubbed as the perfect hideaway and haven for trafficking young women and underage girls for sexual servitude, child abuse, and sexual assault. On this island, the complaint says Epstein and his associates could avoid detection of their illegal activity from Virgin Islands and federal law enforcement and prevent these young women and underage girls from leaving freely and escaping the abuse. The island featured in Justine Maxwell's sex trafficking trial in December She was convicted of the 5 sex trafficking charges. Let's see here. Finally, in May 2023, it was sold to a wealthy investor for less than half of the original asking price, um, with hope of turning it into a luxury resort. Um, but here's the thing. I don't think there's enough holy water in the Vatican that could purify that place. I mean, really. I mean, it's a 75-acre, um, you know, island. They're going to try to turn it into a resort, a luxury resort. I, for the life of me, just don't understand. I really don't understand the premise behind that. Personally, if it were me, um, and I had any kind of say in the matter, I say bulldoze the whole damn thing. I mean, I know that they don't make land anymore, but I mean, a couple of very well placed 500-pound smart bombs might be able to level that place enough to where you could, ferry a bulldozer in and just push everything into a pile and just burn it,
Yeah.
because there's no saving that place. I mean, there are certain, uh, there are certain levels of damnation, and I think that it's not necessarily an island that God forgot about or that God couldn't see. It's just and I don't pretend to know what God wants or doesn't want, but I firmly believe that it's a situation where there's going to be ghosts and demons that haunt that island forever because of what took place there.
Yeah. Also, I mean, during the investigation and everything, we have Prince Anu, we have Glenn Dublin, uh, uh, Marvin Minsky, but then another one is this is where a lot of people think that Epstein got a lot of the women, and it was from a John Luke Brothel, Brunel. But he was a French modeling agent. He basically owned a modeling agency called MC2. Oh man, okay, that's where I had it. Uh, MC2, yeah, modeling management. With financing by Jeffrey Epstein. Basically, they think that he let me see the criminal charges on this. Arrest and indictment on December 16th, 2020. Brunel was intercepted by police at Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris as he was about to board a flight to Ducker Single.
Mhm.
That's actually a fucking place. Sengril? Sengril.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll have Stephen Hawking help us out. Hold on real quick.
Senegal.
Okay, Senegal. And he was placed under grand view custody for questioning and relations of the rape, sexual assault, and criminal conspiracy and human trafficking, with all allegations involving minors. Brew was charged in June 29, 2021 for drugging and raping a 17-year-old girl in 1990 or 2000s. It's a slash. But he ended up he died in his jail cell after allegedly hanging himself. He had attempted suicide several times before his death. Rich people can't stand like jail time. If we ever became rich and we'd get like in jail, we'd probably survive perfectly fine because we're used to having nothing at one point in our lives.
I mean, it'd be one hell of a weight loss program, that's for sure.
That is true.
So,
Prison's,
I mean,
Prison food's not that bad.
Yeah, from what I hear, prison's not that bad. You have a more superfluous diet.
Pancakes. That's one thing that Kai eventually.
Like high carbs. Yeah. Okay.
Well, no, that's what mostly the stuff that we served like almost every morning was pancakes. So, Kai, it took Kai like almost 10 to 12 years to go to the pancake festival.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Because he was having flashbacks.
Pretty much.
No, I don't want any sausage. Not in the face.
You sometimes listen to these
Our
things.
definitions of chocolate milk are not the same. Hold on.
I love you, Guy.
Hold on.
Okay.
Bad Johnny.
For our audio listeners, Johnny is smacking his little hands together.
Tiny hands. See?
Tiny hands.
You can buy them on Amazon, everybody. You see them on TikTok all the time.
They're doll hands. They're attachable doll hands.
Yeah, see? Just fingertip. Yeah. You put enough of them on your hand, you can make the ultimate knife hand. Anyways, digressing.
That's what. But we didn't say it on there that the Trump, because they were going against
yeah, okay. So when Epstein was initially arrested back in 2009, Donald Trump basically banned Epstein from every one of his properties, and to include his Del Margo country or golf club, right? And Donald Trump distanced himself as much as one human could possibly, do. It was, dude. I mean, we're talking about the ultimate in ghosting, right? Cut off any donations, withdrew his money from the hedge fund, that kind of a situation. I mean, there was a lot of it. But with every article from the mainstream media that you see out there, I mean, it's basically a hit piece against Donald Trump. They were the best of friends, and they were taking quotes from from early on before anybody knew what was going on with Jeffrey Epstein's personal life. It was a hit piece against Donald Trump. So there were certainly a lot more.
There was a lot of allegations.
There was a lot of allegations, but just the Black Book alone, which I used to have a link, and I tried to look the link up.
It's gone for some reason.
Yeah, let me.
Because we went over it in one of the episodes.
We did, and it was a while back. Let me see here.
But here, okay, just to show how many cases that went up against him since the 2005. This is 2005. The initial development was in 2005 and 2006. I'm just gonna tell everybody the actual how many cases that he had against him. I'm not going over each and every case because it is a shit ton.
Yeah.
There's initial development in 2005 and 2006 that was in Florida. Persecution agreement, MPA, 2006 to 2005. Operation Leap Year as a result of a 53-page indictment, and basically in June 2007. Conviction and sentencing in 2008, 2011. So he was actually convicted.
Yeah,
on one occasion.
Right. Do you want to know something weird? because I told you I had the black book bookmarked, right?
Mm-hmm.
My bookmark's gone.
Really?
Yeah. Like it's not. I mean, it's not even like, hey, here's the link.
Usually when those websites go away, your bookmark goes away too sometimes, I think. No, the bookmark stays.
Yeah, because I get a 404 not found now.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It was probably just taken down by somebody. The person took it down. There's a bunch of civil cases for also Jane Doe and
Found it.
Epstein. Oh, okay.
95 pages, 1,971 names are on that book.
Yeah. And what we actually found out in that when we did that episode is basically it's just a phone book, a black book of people that he'd known. And
I
it's
mean,
nothing
there's
really.
names like Paul Allen, Charlie Althorp.
You know what we didn't do? We didn't try to call one of those numbers.
They had the numbers redacted.
Oh.
Let me see here. I'm trying to look at some of the more like names that just kind of jump off the page here.
Okay. Let me finish this.
Alec Baldwin's on there.
Let me
David
finish
Kessler. Yeah,
with
go ahead. Go
the
ahead.
cases. Jane Doe and Epstein in 2008. Victim rights, another Jane Doe, United States in 2014. Virginia Gaffer versus Epstein's 2015. Virginia Gafford, Jesselyn Maxwell, 2015 again. Now, this is an interesting one. This is the reason why we have one against Donald Trump. It's Jane Doe versus Epstein and Trump in 2016, which she said the reason why. And this one is the one where people are saying Donald Trump was a horrible person because the victim of this lawsuit kept on flopping. Basically, she would file it and then she would back out. And her lawyer, Lisa Bloom, asserted that the woman had received threats and to drop the lawsuit. And Trump's attorney, Alan Garten, denied the allegations while Epstein denied to comment. Sarah Ramson versus Epstein and Maxwell in 2017. Brittany Edwards defamation versus Epstein 2018. Mara Firms versus Epstein and Maxwell in 2019. Jennifer Arizoa versus Epstein and Maxwell in 2019. Catherine Dole, ETAIAL dot B. That's this one was let me see here. Because that's it's three women were suing the Epstein estate in 2019. That was Kathleen Doe, Lisa Doe, and Priscilla Doe. That's the reason why the ETAI, because it was three people. Jane Doe against the Epstein estate. By this time, the reason why it's going against the Epstein estate, Epstein had died at this time. That's why they're going after the estate. And Teresa Helm versus the estate in 2009. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 women on this one, and they were represented by David Bowes, who was an American lawyer and chairman of the law firm of Bowles, Scratch, and French, Fletchner, LP. Jane Doe 15 versus Epstein estate 2019. Tesla Danes Epstein estate 2019. There's like 16 more versus
I'm scanning through these names while you're reading that, and I don't know, some of our listeners might recognize this name, Janice Dickinson. She had a reality show where she ran a modeling agency. She's in that black book.
How was she?
You'll have to Google her, dude. She's had so much work done over the years. Um,
Like physical work or actual work?
like plastic surgery.
Oh,
Like
okay.
she's a train wreck, dude. It's atrocious. Um,
Who is it again?
Janice Dickinson.
Okay. Let's do that. Do images. Good Lord, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Going from her actual original photo from when she was younger to now. Good Lord.
Yeah.
This is
The
reason
actor
why I want to
Minnie
agree with
Driver
plastic.
is on this list.
Who?
Minnie Driver. She was the girl from Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, she was the girl that he had to go see about. Of course, there's the Duke of York, which is Prince Edward. Then you've got
They put in the Duke of York instead of like Prince Andrew.
yeah.
Wow, that's. I guess they when they put the names in the book and everything, they basically more or less like, this is who I have in my book. Go ahead and
Right.
find the name, and you look at it, it was like, who's the Duke of York?
Let's see here. Ralph Fiennes.
Who's Ralph Fiennes? Why is that so new?
Voldemort plays M in the Bond movies. There's a lot of, I mean, there's Martin Fiennes, Ralph Fiennes, Susanna Fiennes, um, Howard Finkelstein.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Voldemort.
Yeah. Richard Buckley from Gucci. Like the company Gucci.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was. You also got to understand that he was high end financial, and some of those.
He was. Yes. I mean, there's a lot of these names in here that might be just because they were investors. And I get all that. Let me see here. There's just so many, like Jimmy Buffett and his wife.
Yeah.
They're in there, which struck me. I'm like, wow, okay.
Wouldn't
But a lot of these names that are in here are, to me, I think are taken out of context, right? Because it's like there's no dates as far as like what do the phone logs look like? When did these people have contact with them, or with Epstein? Was it, a situation where they knew about the conviction that he had? Did they choose to still, associate with him after the fact? If they did, then that's on them. I mean, let's see here. I mean, dude, there's just so many names in here, but
yeah, it's one of those things that
like Ted Kennedy Jr.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally in there. Um,
and that's another thing that people. Yeah, I mean, even Robert Kennedy Jr. I think he's in there too.
no, he's not. It's
No.
Ted Jr. or Ted Kennedy Jr., Bobby and Mary Kennedy, Ethel Kennedy, Joe Kennedy, Edward Kennedy. Those are the only Kennedys that are in the book.
Half the time on stuff like that, I mean, him coming back from like the time frame that he lived,
Mm-hmm.
like the 70s and 80s. I mean, the Black Book having really good names in your Black Book looks good, and if you can make that number real, I mean,
Well,
it's like a society. I'm high in society and everything.
yeah, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's so.
I mean, the biggest kind of name that I have in my phone is Patrick Kilpatrick.
Yeah.
And more or less to his studio. I have a way to get a hold of him, and he's a great actor and everything. I watched all of his roles. He does a good job. But I'm even if I had like someone like if I had Donald Trump Jr. in my phone, yeah, I would never tell anybody about it.
We need to hang out. You know?
And from what a lot of people say about him, he's a pretty chilled guy.
Yeah.
But he does come from like a Trump stock, so a lot of this he's laid back, but anything that he does for his companies and everything is like plastered big. So
Yeah. I mean, they've got some Rothschilds in here.
yeah, like I said, all those names are
who's who.
yeah, it's a who's who I know type deal. That's
Maria
all.
Shriver, as in the former Miss Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
She's in here. I mean, there's even a Bobby Shriver from the Special Olympics productions in here.
but you also got to understand, so there's a lot of why isn't Arnold's name in there then? Because Arnold
was too busy banging the housekeeper.
Probably.
Yeah. Let me see here.
He really could not say that's not his son if you look at his son.
Oh yeah,
dude, it was almost like a spitting image of Arnold.
Did you see the side by side of parental influence? Like the kid that went to go live, the son that went to go live with Arnold is just absolutely shredded, and the kid that stayed with Maria is just like he's a dumpster fire.
Really?
Oh, dude, it's bad.
I want to see this now. Fuck. Let's do it this way. But no, a lot of those names, there's a lot of things in there that I'm surprised at. I mean, even what Elon Musk was in there, wasn't it?
I don't think so. Let me double check here. Ooh. This website, epsteinsblackbook.com, claims to have flight manifests.
Really?
Mm-hmm. There are 73 pages. Manifests are particularly disturbing as the passenger entries confirm that several VIPs, including President Bill Clinton, who is logged together with passengers just recorded as female. Some pages are skipped because they did not contain parsable data, or the flights listed were duplicates of flights on other pages. And then it's got a link to the original PDF file to understand why. Wow. That's right. I forgot it was called the Lolita Express.
Lolita Express.
Lolita Express. Lolita. Lolita.
Huh. What's the oh yeah, okay, wow. Yeah, his other son is like a big boy.
Yeah.
God damn, he's big. And I'm not talking muscular. I'm talking like fur.
It's like,
how could those genes? Okay, here's my thing. How did those genes?
One spends all day playing video games, and the other one spends his days in the gym.
The kid from like the nurse is like I mean, it's like it's like Twins, exactly like Twins, that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where you have like the great specimen
Mm-hmm.
of what a human could be,
Could be, yeah.
and you
You
have
got
all the
Danny
stuff that
DeVito. You mean I'm
lost.
literally the shit? I'm your shit? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
That was
literally
great.
the stuff that was chiseled off to make the other kid.
Right. It's like dark chocolate, white chocolate. White
Yeah.
chocolate is butterfat. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody in this house except me eats white chocolate, and it drives me nuts because it's butterfat. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Any chocolatier will tell you it's not chocolate, it's butterfat. But they sell it because waste.
I'm curious.
I digress. Oh, you looking that up to fact check me?
No,
Go
not
for it.
fact check you, because I never knew that. It's not. I'm fact checking you. I'm like literally. I'm curious. Like, are you serious? No. Oh. Hold on. Oh, it's cocoa butter mixed with sugar, often the little vanilla and flavor. It's just fat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Shit.
That's exactly it, because the cocoa butter is what the cocoa bean excretes when it's being cooked.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
So it's literally excrement.
I mean, people eat hot dogs too.
Hey, I mean, I'm down with some lips and buttholes, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I threw down some hot dogs at the ballpark yesterday. I'm just saying. You're at the
It's like
ballpark, you got to, right? Couple of beers, some hot dogs, catch a good game, something like a 17-1 beat down,
yeah, someone was trying to make hot dogs. They're like, you know what hot dogs are filled with? And I was like, I don't know what. And this is the first time I've actually heard it. And they're like intestines and pork butt. And I'm like, well, I eat ass. Your tongue accidentally slips sometimes going down in there. So, I'm all right with that. I mean, not my brother-in-law Kenny, but my work Kenny. He he keeps on trying to stump me on disgusting stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, even now, he like last night he sent me and this is probably going to be a new thing, AI porn. And
Right,
it
because the writer's strike has no end in sight.
yeah, no. But no, he sent that to me and it's like, look at this shit. I mean, it looks weird, but it looks desirable at the same time. And I looked at it and I was like, you're
It's
not
nothing
wrong.
more than anime porn with extra steps, dude. That's all it is.
Well, it almost looks, it's not even CGI. That's what's really bad. Well, it's CGI, but it's just so weird. It's one of those things you just like.
It's like you see those TikTok videos with like
Hair.
if Guy Ritchie had directed Harry Potter, like every one of the characters is shredded. Like all the dudes are walking around without shirts on, and they got tats. They're inked up or whatever.
There we go. Let me send you this. I'll give you a judge of it. But it is so fucking weird looking at the same time. It's kind of weird looking too, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks real, but your eyes know and your brain knows it's fake. If I didn't tell you, you'd think like halfway would actually be real.
True. Yeah, but you know, some of us are very happily married, so
Yeah. But people send me weird shit, and I like looking at weird shit. So
yeah, no, I'll definitely give you that. That's a true statement. But it's Epstein's Black Book or blackbook.com. If you guys want to check it out, David, write that link down, that URL down.
link.
Epstein's blackbook.com. You can just post it in the description. There's too much information on this website to sift through. Definitely within the hour constraint that we are trying to keep this particular show at. Right now we're sitting at just coming up on 54 minutes, but I would
Yeah, we're at the like stunning edge, and like I said before we got into this one, the main thing on this is to clarify the whole correctional part, to where the reason why it's more understandable that Epstein got murdered than he did commit suicide, because there's so many steps. And like I said, depending on the difference on New York and Texas on their suicide watch. I mean, even I asked my dad on that when I was like, "Hey, on suicide watch, they only get like a cell and they're butt naked in there, right?"
they get a taco suit, don't they? Just a paper suit and some slides, right?
Pretty much. Not even that. No, they're butt naked. They have to be butt naked.
Well, I guess
anything
paper suit.
Yeah. Even though with the paper suit, they could possibly hang themselves. But yeah, it is so ridiculous. And some people, when I tell them that, I'm like, "Oh, that's cruelty." I was like, "No, it's not. Our job is to make sure they live out their sentence, whatever it is, up until, even if they have like what do you call it? Death sentence. Even if they have a death sentence, our job is to keep them alive until that death sentence. That's technically the only job I had when I was working corrections.
Yeah.
It was make sure their time there as I was basically a
basically people are going to make their own assumptions. They're going to draw their own conclusions about Jeffrey Epstein. They're going to draw their own conclusions about Justine Maxwell, and they're going to draw their own conclusions about the people that were included in the flight logs. They're gonna, should we ever get to see those, they're going to make their own conclusions about the Black Book. Whether you're for or against this type of behavior. Hopefully everybody that listens to this show is against this type of behavior.
I'm pretty sure everybody will.
Yeah. Just the only thing that we ask though is that, as far as, some of the people that are on that list, don't make your assumptions based off of one or two sources. Do your homework. Make an edge. If you're going to have an opinion, have an educated one. If you're going to become part of the discourse, you're going to become part of the debate. Come to the table with some knowledge. Okay. Don't sit there and spout talking points from whatever political affiliation you happen to be attached to, because, at the end of the day, that's just not going to be, it's just not going to work. Okay. So, we really have to be careful about information that's out there. Verify your sources, do your homework. I mean, treat it like it's a college paper. I mean, you've got your reputable and you've got your, unverified sources. Wikipedia is not the place to go. Okay. So we
even though one of us has the Wikipedia page pulled up.
Well, I mean, if you're going to look at Wikipedia, verify the sources, because there should be an annotated note page, or
There's
They're
a list of
footnotes.
references.
Yeah, there are footnotes down at the bottom. But go in and verify the sources, because as everybody knows, Wikipedia can be edited by anybody.
Yeah.
You know, I could go in there and create myself a Wikipedia page and say that I'm worth $2 or $3 billion. That's not going to make it true.
Yeah. One last thing before we head off, and I totally forgot about this. This is like a small conspiracy theory because it just recently happened, like April 30th, 2023. Is Jeffrey Epstein was part of the CIA. I forgot that Kenny told me about this. He asked me about this. Like, oh, wasn't Jeffrey Epstein part of the CIA? Because they had the CIA director in the calendar that came out by that time frame. He was visited by Jeffrey Epstein when he was serving jail time in 2008 for sex crimes involving a minor, and the director of CIA at that time visited him 3 times. Because I don't think that he was quote unquote working with the FBI. I think he was giving information to the FBI. And that's my realization. I don't think the director.
Yeah, anything that involves high echelon members of society and the government, if the person that they're associated with gets themselves into a situation like Jeffrey Epstein did, like Justine Maxwell has done, the truth is going to be so completely buried, because those people are in positions of power and they have the ability to do exactly that. They can make something disappear and it could look sloppy as hell. Everybody knows that you're a part of this, but there's no smoking gun. It's just like with the Maui wildfires. We may never find out.
Yeah. Or OJ killing his wife.
Oh, he totally did that.
Everybody knows that, but he got off on it. That's exactly the I mean, the only reason why he didn't get fully out on it is because of the civil case.
Yeah.
They could have more evidence than the actual other case could. And at the time, OJ was like,
and then he goes crazy and starts beating up people because autographs and memorabilia from his football days.
Yeah. But just let everybody know, check us all out with through Anchor. Well, we're gonna try to get. I'm trying to get on Amazon Music, so just be patient with us. I still got a divvy time to get that through. But we're on every other platform, Rumble, anywhere that you have like social media stuff. You can look at us up, even Google us if you're just send your friends the name Angry Me Productions. Send it out. I don't know why, but I can't repost the episodes on my Facebook page anymore.
Really?
I cannot. I don't know what it is. I haven't done anything I haven't done anything on the on Facebook for like months.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's got something to do with the algorithm. I don't know. I mean, ever since Mark Zuckerberg did his, little I'm changing the name to Meta thing, I don't know, man.
Yeah, but you can totally share the episodes. That's what's really strange.
Oh, maybe somebody complained
about me sharing shit on my own fucking shit.
Hey, dude,
it's not unheard of. I mean, there's so many Epstein memes that I shared, and I still can't believe we had to make a whole new freaking business page.
Yeah. So
we're going strong, and then David decided to throw in the Epstein freaking memes, and now Facebook just docked you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So like,
Burger wasn't on there, was
I posted the Epstein did not kill himself poster, pictures that I had taken from the Armed Forces Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Those pictures are gone. They're not even in my memories anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really? You still have them though, right?
Yeah, they're on my cloud. So yeah.
Okay. repost those motherfuckers. Say fuck you, Zuckerberg. Nah.
Dude, I am hardly. Most of the time that I'm on Facebook anymore is
Yeah, because you got rid of doing the Jeff Goldblum every day.
it has not. I can't find the page. I mean, I'm sure it's still there, but yeah, I used to post the same photo of Jeff Goldblum every day, and it stopped popping up on my timeline.
Huh? Weird.
I don't know, it's weird, but anymore nowadays, man, when I'm on Facebook, dude, it's I'm looking at model building websites, or pages like NASCAR pages, Star Trek. I've got my Starfleet Academy t-shirt on, so but it's
not even that. I don't even skim through it anymore. I just post my shit for our business stuff, and I'm more or less I'm not even on any of the social medias. I just post my shit real quick.
I mean, I'm barely on TikTok anymore. Maybe once, twice a week. The only time I really get on TikTok is when my wife sends me like
a TikTok,
50 TikToks a week, after we've already gone to bed. I'm saying that because she's standing in the room and she's not even looking at me sideways. Okay, so my wife is our sponsor, one of the sponsors for our show, and she's currently trying to print out some paperwork because she's got a signing tomorrow. So, but yeah, Mobile Notary Mindy. That is Texas Mobile Notary Mindy. MobileNotaryMindy.com.
It's the beginning of the show. But
yeah, I know. I'm just putting it out there. It's
you know that you actually watch the show now.
I'm the one that sent you the read, dude. Yeah. And then you were like, "Oh, I had to edit it a little bit and take out the dead air spots." And I'm like, "Okay, so
no,
like
the one in the show, like the beginning of the show now."
Yeah, I'm aware of that, which is why I sent it to you.
Okay, so you actually watch the show now?
Yeah, because I had, because like the last time we had Colin on the show, and he swears up and down that I called my son's fiance a he, and I'm like, no, I did not. You jumped on the bandwagon, and I think that's just because you were trying to bust my balls. I had to go back and listen to the show, and I definitively said she. So I knew that I was right.
I you know what's sad is I totally forgot about that to look through it.
Yeah, I knew that I was right. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. But anyways, everybody.
So I would say that we need to land this plane, but considering the fact that the Lolita Express was existed, I say we bring this ship into port. What do you think?
Yep. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. I'm David Dickerman.
And I'm Johnny Skelton.
And hopefully he can come in a little bit more often. But I know doing these episodes and everything, it's just hectic. So I just do it.
Well, I start my new semester of school next on Monday, actually.
Yeah.
So my Monday evenings are going to still be pretty free for nerd sports, either Monday or Tuesday, depending on what night that we one of those 2 nights that we film that show. But I know that I've got an operations and an instrumentation class that I'm going to have to take at night.
Oh, yeah.
So,
but I might be on Andrea's True Crime podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, tell them I said, what is up?
Yep.
I feel special and included at the big kids table now because, they followed me back on Instagram. I was like, ooh.
All right, everybody.
People know me.
Cool people know me.
I'm a part of the cool kids now.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. I'm David Dickerman.
I'm Johnny Skelton. Again, y'all have a good night.